Hello, welcome to It's For You. And after the amazing little fumble that we have had in order to get started to go live, I'd like to welcome everybody to our final day of It's For You on the 12th day of COP.
Finally, today is 12th December, Inga.
Yes, indeed. It's 12 days of COP, virtually online. We'll be collecting stories from around the world for these 12 days. Amazing stories. So how do you feel, my dear friend in Pakistan? Sadaf, how are you today?
I think it was great what we did. And we'll invite David and Richard formally as well, looking very sharp and nice in their suits for the closing ceremony. So today, for the viewers, as you know, we have been running this campaign, It's for You, or COP28, which is happening in Dubai. For the viewers who don't know what COP is, it's Conference of the Parties, which is a climate conference which happens every year in different countries. And this year it was happening in Dubai, UAE. And also, Ingrid, next year, I think we all should get up. It's in a very nice, beautiful country where I have not been. And for the Pakistanis, the visas are easy. It's in Azerbaijan, Baku. So COP is coming nearer and nearer to Pakistan. So I'm happy about that. So we will be talking about that as well later. But yeah, it has been great. And I congratulate all the teams, especially the African team. They have been really working hard. It was their super experience in spite of the glitches. They were amazing. Collins, Kaka, Tim, Maureen, Areva off behind the scenes. I've been making him crazy, making all those posters at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Too
So,
much.
guys, there was a lot of effort behind this whole campaign, but I think the African team has done wonders. I'm so happy working with them, and I wish I meet them in person in Kenya, Nairobi one day with you, Inger. So I want to take names of everyone. They will be joining us: Maureen, Irene, Kaka, David M, Timothy, Collins, Richard, and David were amazing. It was their first experience,
Yes.
but they did
Yes.
quite well. I mean,
Did you see it on the intro? I put this is for every hedge fund manager on the planet. Let's invite them in. I know they are watching us and can be ready to jump on the
so
screen.
formally, I will invite
for you.
David. Yeah.
I'm letting you come to the stage with us, David and Richard, because did you see every
Hi.
hedge fund manager and every child, 2.5 billion children on the planet and generations to come. We have to do some rethinking here. Explain to us what we have to rethink.
Yes, well, this is amazing. Thank you, and it's been an incredible experience. I think, honestly, we can't do it with is everybody doing it together. That's this whole effort. But most of all, when we started, we were hoping for this to be this antidote, as in the way I'd like to express it, to COP28, in the sense that here we hear the work that everybody is doing, the positivity as they face the climate challenges and turning them into opportunities. And we've heard from people in remote areas of Pakistan. We've heard from people across the continent of Africa. We've heard from people as far away in Las Vegas as people in Melbourne in Australia and down in Peru. And we've heard from people in Hungary, in Europe. We have brought voices from across the world together that they are able to tell us the migration to this richer world and a better future where we can face our climate challenges and do away with a world where we do not need the oil and gas and coal has started, and it's not going to stop. Thank you.
Wow. I have a follow-up question to Richard. Hedge fund managers and the City of London is big business. Explain to me what David just said now, that we are flocking and flying into a future that is put a limit on oil, gas, and coal. Explain to the viewers, to us, to every big money trader on the planet. What is it?
Well, thank you, Ingemette, for that introduction. I think, having worked all my life in finance, you see the world through that particular lens. And in that lens, what I see is essentially a world that's getting closer and closer to some form of bankruptcy event, because the climate costs are stacking up on a completely new scale. And this is not something that's going up in a steady linear fashion. It's actually going up in a really explosive, exponential fashion. And when you see the world through that lens, it becomes very obvious that the only way for us to prevent the world going in that direction and actually going bankrupt for a better world, because the climate will bankrupt us, make no mistake about that, is a world where we actually need to limit our use of the fossil fuels. And by extension, if you want to limit the use, you probably need to limit the production, because if it gets produced, it's going to get consumed. And that is very much the world I see. And I think what we've shown during the 12 days of COP is that there are people all over the world that are doing amazing things, that are very thoughtful. They've really kind of figured this out. And the migration that David is describing is to that point where we will face a future without using as much oil, coal, and gas. COP28 might not be able to issue a statement as such, but the actual migration among people of the world has started to that kind of future. Because without that, the future is really, really bleak. So we move ahead to a brand new world. And in the meantime, we're going to go on building livelihoods for ourselves during this migration. And a migration never takes place simultaneously. People will join at different stages of this migration. You have the pioneers that decide to move really early. They were the people who figured this out by the time Kyoto was around 25 years ago. By the time Paris Agreement, which is actually 8 years ago now, was signed, I think a much larger portion of the world had figured it out. And I kind of came on that particular, for a better word, bus sometime just after Paris, when I said, this is actually not having a very good outlook at all. So I think now we are at the tipping point where you see a large part of the global population actually figuring out that the current economic model with our huge dependency on fossil fuels is really, really not sustainable. And that's why we started the migration.
Yes. And the tipping point, there's negative tipping points and positive tipping points. What you're describing here is a positive tipping point. You're actually describing that people are navigating into a new future that is flocking together in different times, and different professions are coming together, and the breaking down of silos to come together. And that is actually happening right here and now, that you are together with Sadaf and my colleague friend Irum from Karachi and Islamabad, and I'm based in Norway. We are suddenly also talking about empowerment of women as a strong force. We are talking about empowerment of farmers. We're talking about a divorce from the food industry into a new kind of ecological movement, and maybe that divorce and the marriage, David Cove. Maybe please explain what you see. What's the invitation to a new market when it comes to putting a lid or limit or a transformation on oil, gas, and coal for our viewers? It is difficult.
Absolutely. It is this part where resoundingly what we're hearing from people who are affected by the climate challenges coming forward to say, we meet it head on. You can do your part. And you talk of us coming from the investment world, and Richard and I have spent 30 years making money for big money. We as our segment, who's tipping over the tipping point, kind of jokingly comments, our superpower is to get people to buy things. And the thing that we can actually get people to buy is to keep oil, gas, and coal in the ground. So
really?
Just imagine this.
How can I buy that? I can. It is difficult. I don't.
Absolutely. And this is the transformation. This is the miraculous thing. Imagine a couple is getting married together and they go and buy their wedding ring.
Okay.
And there are many places that buys it, but one of the places says, I'm going to help you when you buy your wedding ring as a commitment to each other. I can make that a commitment to our planet too. I will commit a part of your money that you spend, that you choose to spend, to buying these mineral rights, because they're just mineral rights. And we can buy a lump of gold and keep it stored in our mattress, and so that no one will ever see it again. We can do the same with oil and gas and coal, so that we can keep it stored away and never be seen again. And you know what?
I don't want to put myself in a plastic bed, or I'm just joking, but all gas and coal. I don't want to sleep beside the oil, gas, and coal. But our mattresses are also very often in plastic. So
Yes,
it's a
but
plastic. Yes.
and that's the brilliant thing about it, because they are already hidden away. We just have to buy the rights of them so we don't dig them out. So half the job is already done. And for the person who owns it at the moment, they're waiting for you to come and say, I can still feed my children and have a better future for them by you coming along and thinking about it. Because if you give me those money in that way, I can feed my children, and what I have left, I can go and help and invest in healing the planet too. And that's what we all want to do.
Yes.
So we actually end up healing the planet by keeping the poison away, instead of having to feel we have to take it out and poison ourselves and everyone else. We can actually spend our money.
Yeah. So let me think about this a bit. So the wedding ring. So I buy the wedding ring, and with the wedding ring, you will call it a tax. So it goes into someone that is owning a coal mine or something, and we pay them as we pay people to buy a tree offset. We pay people to not cut down trees. We pay them not to take out the coal and burn it. That's
yes, and there are many ways you can do that, and it doesn't have to be a tax, as in it goes to the government, because our governments are not always the ones that want to do the things that we want, but it can be effectively our own collective action together, that we put our money together and collectively, as we do in many situations. For example, we collectively contribute towards maintaining, the beaches we have or the parks I go to and so on. And depending on where you are and which country you have different ways of doing that. So this allows us to say we can contribute ourselves and have that real power by redirecting the money we spend to the people we think are making the world better. And what better way of making the world better than to halt the constant poisoning that we are doing at the moment on our planet, so that it supports all the healing and the therapies that we are creating, and we're taking ourselves forward. And what better way than to do this with our money, so that our money goes into real technology that actually heals us and takes away the poison.
Wow. So it sounds like a brilliant idea. It's like glittering, like in all colors in my brain, like the background that we have here. So it's a little bit. It still is a confusing thing for me, and I'm sure, like my colleagues from Pakistan, is also a little bit confused. So why do you want to work with us as ladies with beautiful shopping habits? We love shopping. We can shop till we drop. So what's the story about this?
Well, this is the essence of the whole dilemma and conundrum we face. Many of the things that we do, we do in order to protect ourselves and help ourselves. The aspect of kind of retail therapy, is something I myself do. On some of those days, you just feel that you need to in that way. But here, you are able to spend knowing that you can direct part of your spending goes to healing the planet along. And it doesn't take very much. I mean, it's surprising how little it actually takes. It's just that we're not aware that we can do this. And of course, for those who are currently involved in extracting these minerals and selling them so that we burn them and go along in that way, they're serving us because we need the energy along. But the distinction that has been made, the migration that has started, is the voices of individual people, even from the areas that have been affected by the climate challenges, where they need their source of energy in their current form, to say, we've started our migration, we've started moving away. So please help us on the other side, support our journey.
Yes.
Carefully to what. Thanks, Iram, from joining us from Karachi, Pakistan. We'll come to you as well. And thanks for your support all the 12 days. It was a great team effort, and congratulations on air. I again say we did a great job. So coming
Absolutely.
back to what David was saying, as we mentioned that the concept is very clear, Ingrid, to me. What David is trying to say is just that it needs to be documented, and the way Richard and David is going to people like, I don't know, David and Richard, you've heard so many conversations from Pakistan, uh, from all over the world. And these people, as I was mentioning off the record, a lot of people, my own friends, have given me the feedback. And that's what David was saying. We calling it the antidote to COP28 was our COP was a bit kind of different. All those people came up with success stories, what they're achieving, aligning it to sustainable development goals, which is the United Nations agenda for 2030. Like, look at the Saddam guy. I watched his presentation last night when I came back from the mountain festival. And if that kid can do it from the north part of Pakistan, he is working on renewable energy. He's very focused. When I met him in person, he had that passion, and I really wanted him to present, and I wanted Richard and David to hear his presentation. What I'm trying to say is that, Inger, it's not impossible. These ideas, I mean, my nephew is living in Lahore, and every day we have a family group in which he's saying he's bought an air filtration for his apartment. He has to wear a mask to go out. It's like, I've grown up in Pakistan, Iram has grown up in Pakistan. We never had these problems. Did you hear what Saddam said yesterday? Peshawar is the second most polluted city in Pakistan. The carbon emissions, the air we breathe in is literally poisonous and it's harming our health. My question to you all is, and it is kind of, I don't want to talk about the challenges, but I think, David, it's brilliant idea what you think. And if people like, it's like Iram, I'll put it to you and I'll bring Iram in conversation. Iram knows exactly what I'm trying to say because Pakistan, let me tell you, is the first country, if you do research, is the most charitable organizations around the globe when it comes to, in Islamic word, we say zakat and khairat, right? So what David is trying to say, to save the planet, if anyone can afford even paying 10 rupees, let's, if this campaign starts from Lahore, imagine nobody's even thought of this campaign, by the way. The government is focusing on other things, right? If we pick up Lahore and Peshawar and we start this campaign, Iram, people are going to give this money like crazy. If they can afford 10 rupees, they will put in this. If people who can afford 5,000, because it's there. It's there. They're facing it. So Iram and I know exactly these type of campaigns in Pakistan are a success story. They've won Oscars. By the way, I'll quote here Shirmeen Chinay Obad. Google it right now. She's
Yes.
won an Oscar from Karachi. She made just a documentary on what was it, on the acid facing. It was a
Acid
negative
facing.
story for Pakistan, but she cashed it and she was nominated Oscar. She highlighted that issue and she did it. There's so many other stories to share right now, but I'll bring in conversation Iram. Iram, the concept in plain
Yes.
words, David is explaining it in a like a complicated way, but I'm putting it in a simple way for you and the Pakistani viewers. What we are trying to say, it's for you campaign, is that whatever you can to save your climate and to breathe fresh air, it's like a donation. I'll put it that way. It's a donation to save your climate earth. It's a charity. It's like to save your future generations. Will Karachi people step in? I think you better do, because what Mariam showed the presentation, in 10 years in Lahore, people will start dying if they don't, if we don't know anything, by the way. That's the American research report. Yes, Iram.
I, I
May
I would
I?
like to add a little bit onto that very much. I have 4 children. I have spent a lot of money on their education, and it makes no absolute sense to me that I should actually spend a little bit of money for a planet for them so that they can do something with their education. And that's how I see it. That's how Richard and I have come to this. And Richard will be able to tell you, it takes something like just 1 day's worth of our spending every year. You know, if you think about that, how much of what I have spent on my children's education, and I've spent that not because of anything other than that I want them to be able to be the people that they can be, the best of who they may be. So, sorry, Erin,
Yes,
I
indeed.
interrupted.
Yes, I know. No, it's okay. It's just a friendly conversation, and I guess Sadaf has a point. And as per, I give my example that I have started that campaign just to have $1 for a thalassemia child to have a good day and a good gift of their life. So those children doesn't have the lifeline, and believe you me, people around the world listen to my voice. Last Eid that we celebrate, just like your Christmas, last Eid I did it, and I spent the second day of my Eid in the thalassemia ward of children. So that thalassemia children, were the happiness, the smile on their face, just being me there, and some gifts of that $1 in Pakistan is like 300 rupees, and that thing can bring a smile on a child's face, because I know.
So
As
true.
Erin was talking, the word just came into my mind. Save
Yeah.
Lahore Climate Fund for Clean Air. Just a name.
It's not
I mean,
only Lahore, it's the Peshawar, it's the Karachi, it's the Gwadar, it's everywhere in Pakistan, because Pakistan is suffering the baddest climate over here, because Peshawar city is also counted in there, as Saddam told you. Lahore has a smog there, and it is like, oh my God, the smoke and everything, because the industrial area is nearest to the city. It is all it's very populated kind of a city. The Karachi city is a hub of commercial. It is like a business city, and it is a port city. But there is so much has to be done, because there's few of the organization like JDC and many other people are working for the people, and there are no, especially in Karachi, when I say there's no drinking water supply, which can be over here in a few further years, we wouldn't be able to bring the pure water. Can you just mute a little bit, sir? Thank you so very much. Sir, mute. Thank you. So the thing is, like, we all need to work on it. It's not only Pakistan I'm talking about. If you go to America, there's the same situation going over there. If you go to UK is also having and suffering all of these things, because that's why the global warming is happening. The other things are happening. People over there, my relatives live over there. I used to live over there in High Wycombe. It's been years, but the weather then was something amazing. Weather now is like a few of the people in summers, there was no installation of fans and ACs over there, but yeah, definitely now they are having it. As David, you live over there. I used to live there. When I got married, I lived there in UK. So my entire family is over there, and it's been like, I used to go to London School of Arts because I wanted to do some textile designing. So you know what? Been there, done that. But the thing is, right now is the thing that we have to do that. We have to be one of a kind of a human being that are really saying something. We're not just saying it. We're standing by our word. This is what important today.
Yes, absolutely. Put our money where our mouth is. And this is the thing. When we come and we listen to what comes out of COP, we have our power taken away because we feel we have to wait for someone else to do the thing that needs to be done. And here, what we're saying is, from what Richard and I come from, is we know we have that power ourselves. Richard, you were describing how the mathematics of this work between the customer and the business. Do you want to explain?
Very happy to. we readily acknowledge that, and I think this is hugely important for people to understand wherever you are in the world, nothing comes for free. Okay? That's an illusion. There are no shortcuts to prosperity. Nothing comes for free. If we want to maintain our planet the way it is, we have to be prepared to pay for it. And what is simpler than proportionately all over the world, whoever spends the most pays the most? If you only have a little money to spend, you will make some contribution. If you have a lot of money to spend, you will making a larger contribution because it's natural. Your demand on the planet is larger than the person who's only spending a few dollars a year. But it's important to remember here that it can be done very simply. If all the world's businesses align themselves to this, we could actually buy back the whole oil, gas, and coal industry with the spending we as citizens of the planet do in one day of the year. That's all the cash flow that would need to get directed towards maintaining our planet. I think that is incredibly cheap. To pay 30 cents on $100 of spending, because that's what it is, for maintaining a planet we can actually live and prosper in, I think is a bargain.
And of course, your businesses need you as the customers. So whatever you say, they listen.
Absolutely. We have that power as global consumers of the world. We have that power. It's a fallacy to believe that we are powerless in the face of multi-billion-dollar corporations' value, because there's 8 billion of us and we spend an awful lot of money every year on our goods and services. So the power actually lies with each and every one of us on the planet as consumers to say, I think it's okay to pay a little fraction of all the money I spend towards the planet. Because honestly, I don't see how we're otherwise going to do it, because nothing comes for free. And we need to kill that fallacy thinking that somehow we can achieve this without making a sacrifice. And I think this is a sacrifice that's an absolute bargain.
So you're right, Richard. It's the power is in our pockets if we have coins in our pockets. But let us go back to what the idea that Sadaf actually was presenting here in our call, and I haven't heard it before. And this is it's a health issue for citizens in Lahore and all the neighboring cities around in the area. And Sadaf is suggesting, let us do a campaign that is actually looking at this situation in Pakistan. And this is kind of the initiative, the ideas that you as hedge funds managers out of London, you can actually help the initiative together with the credibility and that IRM is having in Pakistan, that we can fundraise $1 or whatever people have in their pocket. And to say that this is a message, the blanket of trapping the heat waves in Pakistan up to 40 degrees, and then in addition having the haze and the lead pollution. We have to talk about that. It's killing people in 10 years, as Sadaf is saying. So it is not only consumer, but it is a citizen. It's a right to have fresh air. And we have to start from somewhere. So that is what actually Sadaf is suggesting in my ears.
Continuing to Inger's conversation, so Rotary is a great network. I think to start with, I mean, we will be having a follow-up meetings after this. They have done wonders for eradication of polio project in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and I've been victim to that. Iram also knows. The 1 billion project story from Sri Lanka is amazing, right? And Rotary, they don't just talk. Rotary is like, imagine if we have a collaboration or an MOU of the It's For You campaign with Rotary for this climate saving fund for Lahore and Karachi and Peshawar, which are the mostly hit cities. They have organized teams. We just have to share our idea, become a Rotarian first. David and Richard, I request again, after the COP is over, start with London Rotary, because London Rotary is very active, right? And same goes to our friend from David, who's in Kenya, Nairobi. The EDCN network, imagine if everybody joins Rotary, we don't have to do anything. Iram knows how Rotary and I know how Rotary operate. You just need to get them on board, and they do it fast track. And the other takeaway and the campaign which I have in mind to make it on a very fast track is like people like Mariam, Saddam, they have their non-profits registered. We don't have to waste time. We just engage these people on the ground in different countries to start this campaign. So that's
absolutely.
Over to you.
So let me add up. As I am a Rotarian from Pakistan as well, and I'm a part of a Rotary Club in New York as well. As I have got dual nationality kind of thing. So yeah, definitely I am doing that. But it's all it needs is your goodness. All it needs, if you wanted to do good to people connect with you. That's
the starting. When you take that small step to start, you take away the fear. Those are the voices, those are the steps. And I think to the leaders, don't be too intoxicated by the excitement that may be going on.
Yes.
Because back home, the people you represent, they have already started the migration.
Yes. You're right. It's a party going on. And that's the COP. It's a conference of the parties on climate change. So we are also saying that our 12 days, it's a celebration. We are celebrating ourselves. We are celebrating the ideas that we bring to the table, and we share between us each other from around the world, and we might make ideas fly. But I really like to present and maybe share and have a break in our conversation, and also for our viewers to listen to the music and the track, and let us think how we can make ideas fly. What do you think, my friends?
Sounds brilliant.
Sounds brilliant. I'll find the favorite sound. I think it will be the historical sound from COP28. I put it loud.
This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah. Unlock your consciousness towards the environment. Yeah, nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah. Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices, chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, yeah. Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah, dancing in the rain, owning my challenges, being alive, having fun. Hey, 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 hey. Transformational ownership, yeah. Hey yo, listen, everyone. You are welcome to the
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now, yeah. Kill mama, kill mama, kill mama, kill mama.
Yeah, dignity is the key to unlock your consciousness towards the environment. Yeah, nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human. And just stop being the
We are humans. Don't hurt our feelings. So,
Absolutely.
thank you, David.
Indeed.
Thank you, David, for bringing along this book that you produced that is going to tell the story from everyone to the leaders of the world, to the business leader of the world, to ordinary people.
Well, we need, as Sadaf describes, what we need is actually the voice of all the ordinary people. I think her description is really right. You know, the way we deal with this is to anchor it down into the things that affect us all today.
Yes.
You know, the air pollution in Lahore, they need to be tackled. You can't go along and say, oh, I'll tackle, you know, oil and gas and coal without actually saying it's for that. David, you know, and us, we had a conversation last night, and we were talking about the life of indigenous people. And it starts from there. By focusing on those things, that's how you get to realize the money you spend actually helps you in the lives that you have every day. And that's how it comes about. So what the way Sadaf has described it is exactly right.
We welcome you all for the closing ceremony of the 12 Days of COP, which is happening in Dubai. And our campaign was It's for You, a symphony of billion voices. Once again, I thank you, all the people who've joined us from different parts of the world. They wrote Unsustainable Truth. Over to you, Richard. You've just got 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadaf. It's for You is really a journey that started when David and I left the investment industry, and we put our thoughts together into a book that became The Unsustainable Truth. That became the embryo to our ideas about how we can keep oil, gas, and coal in the ground. But The Unsustainable Truth is actually the naked journey of about some very, very unsustainable and uncomfortable truths that we discovered after 30 years in the investment industry. The first one is the simple fact that in today's world, there's too much money chasing too few opportunities. And when you come to that point, you are going to take those returns from those who can least afford it. That means we're going to continue to exploit all our corners of the world, and we are most of all going to take it from our planet. The planet has only so much to give, and it's an amazing place that can replenish itself, but we have to give it the chance to do so. If we keep on doing what we've been doing for decades and centuries even, this place will no longer be able to provide our common home and give us the financial returns we strive after, to be secure in our retirement, to put away a nest egg for children's education and looking after elderly parents. That is the unsustainable truth. And the reason lies very much at the heart of us being quite unnatural in the way we live our lives. There is no other animal or plant on this planet that spends a third of its life accumulating resources to be used in the final third of its life, stocking up so that we can stop contributing. It's very unnatural, and we have to rethink that. Because as more and more people join the quite wealthy in this world and start saving on a more structural scale, the planet will have less and less to give us. And it will be more and more difficult for us to find those return opportunities without harming our planet. That is the unsustainable truth. There is no way around it. Our savings are actually now starting to kill the planet, and we will all have to rethink what that means. And for us today, it started with It's For You and how we can move forward by keeping oil, gas, and coal in the ground. A carbon market will allow us to do that, where we can see the benefits and the costs of our use of oil, gas, and coal, naked and transparent for everyone, regardless where you live and what you do. That is the unsustainable truth. It's been a fantastic journey over these 12 days. We hope that you all have enjoyed it just as much as we have. And I want to finish off by thanking the whole team that has made it possible. Thank you, Sadaf. Thank you, everyone else.
Thank you, Richard, for the beautiful narration from the book Unsustainable Truth. As we say, it's a symphony of billion voices. I think it was a great teamwork, all the team from Africa who made a lot of effort in this whole campaign. Now, for sustainability, he was born in 10th October 1952 in Switzerland. He holds the UNESCO Chair on Global Understanding for Sustainability, and as an Art and Sciences and the Max Weber Center for Culture and Social Studies. He's also the member of Academia Europaea, chair of the IGU Commission on Global Understanding. Welcome, sir, to the closing ceremony. Over to you.
Thank you, Sadaf. Thank you, organizers of It's For You campaign, the Symphony, Voices for the COP28, for having me. Thank you to the team of East Africa Campuses and College Green Network and Wonderful Travel and Tours for enabling this event, together with the Vienna Declaration project partners, Rethinking Choices and the World Climate School. And of course, Sadaf Khalid from Pakistan as general coordinator of this It's For You campaign and her brilliant talent for making it happen. Thank you, all of you. Dear participants in this closing ceremony, over the last couple of years, it became more and more obvious that humanity is indeed very close to missing the broadly agreed 17 Sustainable Development Goals in time. Today, most experts share this insight. And after COP28 at Dubai, perhaps all of them. One of the important reasons for this is certainly the not very convincing inclusion of science into implementation of the Agenda 2030. And this because it doesn't properly reach the key agent of societal transformation, the everyday actors, the civic society. You rather need, in the words of Gary Jacobs, the president of the World Academy of Arts and Science, summarizing the claims of the Vienna Declaration, a broad-based social movement to transform thinking and action in ways that enable transition to globally sustainable living. However, it is most of all important to recognize the lack of thematic coherence in the scientifically not convincing political compromise. Who engages in it needs consequently to keep in mind its political nature as an expression of a commonly formulated political will. The political nature of the Agenda 2030 is certainly jointly responsible for the so far too slow implementation of the self-imposed goals, the Agenda 2030. And this is despite the considerable environmental and, above all, financial efforts over recent decades. The reasons for this are manifold. In my view, the international structure approaching a global problem constellation is one of the most problematic aspects. But what else? By having a closer look at the constitutional process of the SDGs, one can recognize that even though they are the product of the largest consultation program in its history of the UN, the whole process has a top-down structure dominated by representatives of governmental institutions, science organizations, and NGOs. This structure undermines a broad inclusion of citizens of the planet. All are more or less trapped by these structural shortcomings. How can these shortcomings be overcome? How can the speed and depth of this necessary societal transformation be improved? How can the structural shortcomings be cleared? The Vienna Declaration has the ambition to prepare some answers to these questions. In the following, I'll refer to its 7 key principles, offering an alternative approach to the Agenda 2030 and the climate change conferences. The first principle is a very simple one, but at the same time, very often forgotten. It's the insight that sustainability is about more than ecology. Much of today's thinking about sustainability is rooted in the idea that the human and the natural sphere are somehow opposed. The nature is simply our environment. But the opposite is true. With our bodies, we are part of nature. And the way we understand and transform nature depends on our cultural backgrounds. Therefore, sustainability is in fact about us, part of nature, not about simply managing ecosystems and the environment. The second principle refers to the idea that true change towards sustainability can only be achieved if people begin to change their everyday practices and routines. Or in other words, really sustainable change can only happen if it's done and accepted and aimed by everyday people, everyone on the planet. Sustainability is more than just a fashion. It is, in fact, a mindset, something that enables us to live sustainably. Here, especially, the voice of the arts can make a powerful contribution in the form I just mentioned, establishing new ways of connecting with the world to find sustainable solutions for everyday problems in most diverse contexts. This idea leads directly to the third principle. It is about the deficiencies of top-down approaches. If you have ever bought a one-size-fits-all shirt, you may know that one size only rarely fits all. The same holds for solutions to achieve sustainability. Top-down approaches that prescribe solutions for everyone hardly succeed. Instead, we need to find solutions that fit the specific conditions in different contexts, or more precisely, we need to empower people to develop such solutions themselves. As a direct consequence of this, we can say, as a fourth principle, cultural and regional diversity shall be the starting point of any sustainability strategy. Everything people do is locally and placed, historically situated, and culturally embedded. It is difficult.
The Vienna Declaration argues that the arts and social and humanistic research are key for making living sustainably not only possible, but even enjoyed by everyone. The sixth principle highlights that a true bottom-up strategy involves a change of our ways of producing and applying knowledge. Many sustainability policies try to teach and tell others how to do things properly, without knowing their cultural context, without respecting their expertise. We are convinced that robust solutions must be developed together, and that there are a great potential for collaborative co-production of new knowledge. The basis for this is mutual learning from each another. To hold the six guidelines coherently together, we need the seventh principle. It calls for civic engagement. Real bottom-up policies enable to use the forces and creativity of concerned citizens of all generations, but especially of the young members of our global community. To make this engagement more effective, we want to develop a global platform to facilitate concerned action by people all around the world, whether they are researchers, teachers, or concerned citizens. These are, in a nutshell, the 7 key principles of the Vienna Declaration. The Vienna Declaration is an invitation to make sustainable development happen at your doorstep, to mobilize people around the planet, and to enable fruitful outcomes of their engagement. Instead of blaming others for not doing enough of the right things or for doing the wrong ones, it calls for a personal involvement in and engagement for change. Let me finish with an example out of Lord's tradition. In ancient times, when a child was born, the parents planted a tree as a material basis to build a baby cradle for the child of just born new citizen. Of course, in modern times, this tradition disappeared. But this is a good example for the duration of sustainable foresight in a nature-based rhythm. And perhaps today, every world citizen should plant at least more than one tree to catch up the delay we have run into. This example brings me to the last part of my intervention, congratulating all of our winners and thanking all speakers in the For You campaign, a Symphony of Opinion Voices for COP28. To all the global participants who were part of this 12 days of COP28 and appreciate their efforts for working on climate change project, received the Climate Award with certificate of appreciation. These are representatives of Pakistan, of Azerbaijan, the UK, India, Norway, Brazil, Jamaica, Germany, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Greece, the Philippines, USA, Las Vegas, Sweden, Australia, Thailand, Saudi Arabia, and Cameroon. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the speakers for their amazing contributions to the climate change project in their countries, or in short, for their amazing contribution to reach global sustainability in the spirit of the UN Declaration. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Benno, for appreciating all the participants who have joined us all across the world. And I'm sure everybody will have a question. Mr. Benno, if you have time, you can please remain till the end. But if not, we will take questions and we will hand it over to you later. So I'm going to share just a certification of appreciation. It will be sent by our team after this closing ceremony. And I'm especially going to thank Areva from Kenya, who has been making these certificates 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning because there were so many. So thank you, Areva, for creating these beautiful certificates of appreciation and the award. So this is the certificate of appreciation, Mr. Benno. We will be giving to you, and similar, we are awarding to all the participants who contributed to the It's For You campaign and made it a symphony of billion voices. Now I will ask Inger Met, my co-host for the closing ceremony, who joined all the way from Oslo, and she has been with us non-stop 12 days DJing and creating this beautiful video which David is going to play. Now I think it is uploaded on YouTube. Over to you, Inger Met, co-founder of World Climate School from Norway.
Thank you, Sadaf, and thank you, Benno, for the anchors into the culture and diversity and a culture of peace and the culture of the arts for humankind. And I also always like to say that it's for human kindness. And so thank you so much for that. I will also like to call for our friends from Kenya to come on stage and to ask Kaka and Collins to come. I can spotlight them for all of us. But I'd like to spotlight everyone, I have to say, because it's been an amazing 12 days. I feel exhausted, and I'm sure all of us in the lead coordination team is doing that. Get Kaka, he's on his mobile phone, but let us get add you to the spotlight, Kaka. And thank you for all the effort and all the work you've done, and send us the greetings to the world from the Eastern African campuses and colleges and Green Network. I say the whole sentences because you are more than 36 universities and 10 colleges in the Eastern African region, and beyond that, you are even around the whole African continent. Over to you, Kaka.
Thank you very much, our guest, Mr. Benno, and our team, Dr. David Richard Metro, Inger Meta, the organizing team, and my good team that have been working around the clock to ensure that this is a success. I want to, first of all, allude my appreciation and my, from the deepest point of my heart, that it's for you to campaign as more than a family to ensure that those people who will not, people who decided they're going to spend their money, people that they think the planet better are really the hero, and that is my responsibility. My name is Kaka Isaiah, I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, and I am the founder and director of the East Africa Campus Colleges Green Network. It's a vibrant network across East Africa, which strives to turn climate action into livelihood. And Mr. Benno,
I heard there's a technology glitch. Can you hear Kaka? I can't hear him.
We can hear.
Kaka, we can hear you. Can you just go ahead?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, my dear.
All right, so thank you. I just want to say thank you because I don't have much time, but I want to say that there is no point on this as we strive to make the planet better for all of us.
when the young people are excluded, I've really been seeing a lot of platforms, young people are being excluded by anyone in this particular forum for bringing a lot of young people to participate with this. Actually, I'm here in Nairobi. We are about 50 of us from the East region, and we want to really thank you for the whole participation that we've been having. I can't say how much. I'm quite kind of emotional for this particular moment, but I really want to say thank you so much for everybody who took their time, their resources, to make sure that they are contributing to this particular moment. And I want to assure you that what we believe in by the fact that we don't want to leave anyone behind is what this campaign aims to bring every voice from different parts of the world, from the indigenous community to the media to the family, from all over the world, and to ensure that everybody's voice is participating to ensure that we are all of us contributing small by small to make sure that we make this planet a better place. I want to quote Wangari Maathai sometimes back. He said that you go out and meet that hummingbird, the hummingbird that
in different stock of knowledges as formed by scientific research contribute to the solution. What can arts contribute to the solution? What can the insight of local people contribute to the solution, and so on? I mean, we need to learn to use the advantages of learning from one another and learning together about problem solutions. And we can't wait until scientists find a solution for everything and everywhere, because the world is different in every point of the planet. Of course, also similar, but specifically different. And we have to take into account these differences and the cultural backgrounds of the people living in certain places, because if they should change certain aspects of their life, then we have to know their cultural background. Otherwise, we force them. We don't take them in a democratic, respectful way into the problem solution. I think that's an important point, and I think that's why UN sustainability policies is not moving faster forward, because people are defending themselves, their culture, because they want to change it just because of certain scientific insights without understanding them properly. So we have to go down and to strengthen also science, the scientist engagement for the everyday world, but not behaving like a scientist, but behaving like a world citizen and giving and caring for one another. And we have to develop in schools also the idea of solidarity. If we are not creating solidarity among us, we will not survive the challenges we are confronted, most likely, in the future decades. Humanity will be confronted in the future decades. And in addition, we also should learn in schools that there are no natural disasters. There are only disastrous ways of behaving from the human side, but these are not natural disasters. There are social disaster or individual disaster, depending on what level we are looking at. And I think this is a very important point for education in respect of sustainability, and to foster engagement of everyone and its place in his area of living and contributing to a better way of living. Just a last example, maybe, my idea about sustainability is not to put people in a cage and tell them what to do. Sustainability should be joyful. It should be playful. If you give kids a ball, they start to kick it and they have fun, just kicking the ball. And that's how it should be with sustainability. Everybody should be engaged to improve his or her life, to do it with others, and to enjoying ways of living that are not just based on the use of consumption and resources, but by giving and sharing things together.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the message from David Coe and Richard as well, and the initiative of the climate change is about joy. When society is collapsing or the economic system is collapsing, the joy might be gone. And that's why this thing about celebration and that story came alive during It's For You campaign, and before that as well. So it is a commentary about the nature, and we are nature, we are water. Nature is not outside us; it's inside us, human as well. And it's so, and also this the Greek stories we've been having from our friend from Greece is like the cosmology of the universe and the microcosmos goes together, and this is the ecological movement, and rightly, as you say, it's this is not it is in fashion to be sustainable now, but it's deeper than that. It's an eco lifestyle, as you said, and it is an act of love. And I'd like you to close your words with a few comments on that. Maybe it's an act of love.
The point is, in my view, it's very simple to blame others and to feel above them, to feel better than them by saying, oh, why they don't do that? And if they don't do that, then I block streets or whatever. But this is not a way of living in a democratic sense, in my understanding at least. We should be respectful about ourselves, but even more about others, independent of where they are living. And we should understand that we have responsibilities for all other people on the planet by the way we are living. If you are polluting more of our common goods, like air, like water, as we are cleaning, then, I mean, the balance will be a disaster, and it is a disaster. I mean, there is a wonderful art piece of breathing, showing when you are breathing, in fact, we are breathing the whole atmosphere. If the atmosphere is polluted, we are getting sick. And this is a wonderful or a perfect example to show that we are part of nature. We are not the opposite of it. We are living in and with nature as nature, but the way we are doing things is coordinated, directed by our cultural background. And that's where we have to change things in a respectful way.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a quick question, Inga.
Please.
Yeah, to Mr. Beno. I wanted just to quickly ask, because as much as I know, is that apart from UNESCO being a specialized agency in terms of the scientific and cultural education, I'm also concerned about how the international cooperation organize aspects like things to do with peace, I guess, and through multiple aspects. I know they're quite linked to other United Nations branches, but I know that UNESCO is really the true name of this. I was just asking quickly concerning the young people participation, and especially with the area around, for instance, what we do with ECCGN. We've got so many research startups. We have got within us, we have students who are doing research on medicine and other things like using natural herbs to come up with medicine, and others are using science basically to curb the issues of climate change. I don't know how UNESCO has been really been intriguing to participate to ensure that the young people's voice are also included in this decision making, because one of the biggest challenges that we've been having, and this has been cutting across even to multilateral meetings and high level meetings, is that in so many forums, the young people's voice has been really excluded in terms of participation. And if you look at some of this framework, particularly the legal framework that has been drafted, less than 4% of the young people are participating in terms of decision making, and this is what we've been seeing across the globe. Also, and anytime we go to these meetings, we say that the young people are the solutions. Everybody is yearning that the young people are the solution, but when it comes to giving them a platform to participate, it becomes very, very hard. I don't know, as a leader from UNESCO, I don't know what your point is onto this, And not just maybe to UNESCO, maybe you might also be having award on the other climate action platforms across United Nations. And what exactly can we do to bring a different narrative, especially on the reduction of oil, gas, and coal? Because fossil fuels has really been a big thing, and we are having a conversation the other day about the climate activists, the young people who are always on the fight of this, and some of the solutions that they are trying to air their voices on the streets. If you see them lifting their banners every day and fossil fuels, it looks like their efforts never materialize. And this is one of the biggest things that we are having in the whole continent in terms of this. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, to give a rather short answer to your very long question, your key point is how young people can bring them into the policies advertised and supported by UNESCO. The point is, in my view, all these organizations are trapped in structural contradictions. I mean, by being international, their partners are nation states. So you have the national representative of education that are voting on UNESCO proposals and so on in the General Conference. And in my understanding, this is a very complicated constellation, because despite the fact that it's an international organization, it's driven by national interests, and they are balanced or organized by the administration, in this case in Paris, UNESCO headquarters in Paris. And therefore, it's again not directly going to the citizens. It's going through the citizens to the political representatives. And they are filtered by political constellation in every country, or even dictatorship or whatever. So I think we should take the ideas out of UNESCO that are suitable, that we are finding interesting, but we don't have to wait for UNESCO or UN resolutions. We have to work or act faster, and we have to organize ourselves. We cannot wait until this huge machinery of international negotiations, of national agreements, and when it's becoming critical, countries are walking out because they don't feel them represented and so on. You know, we have to do, I think people like David, Ingemette, and I, and all people here from the different projects, I see the duty of the older generation to support the implementation of good solutions coming from the basis. We are not governments. We don't have to wait for governments, but we have to organize the means and tools that these things can be implemented. And if you have 50% of the world population citizens engaged in that, we can achieve more than the governments do. But of course, we can also push the governments to engage in that policies, to support this initiative of its citizens, and not only the decision of ministries or international negotiations on international contracts. They remain abstract, then it means they remain distant. People are not making them to their thing, and people are doing things only good if they are making it to their thing, to their project. And that's for that we have to learn and to use their language, and not to come by with the language of international diplomacy.
Thank you, Mr. Benno, for that answer. And when you were talking, it was exactly what was going in your mind. It's duty of all of us how we can contribute to climate change. And I am going to quote the United Nations SDG 17, which is Partnership for Goals. We cannot achieve the targets. We cannot achieve. Climate issue is huge. If we work together, I think we can achieve. And for 2024, the resolutions all the beautiful people who are here participating. They do wonders in their communities. Let's join together and let's make it happen. So please, I know there are a lot of questions. Please, your questions should be short. Time is precious. We just have 10 minutes to the closing ceremony. Yes, who has raised the hands? Just unmute yourself and make your question short.
Yes, please, Sveino. Get your question up
Sure.
loud.
Yeah. Okay, partly a question, but also partly a huge appreciation and a very strange experience here to hear, especially from you, Benno, the thoughts you have. They resonate really deeply with us in the Bards for Climate and our artistic community. And what we've been talking about out of intuition for a while comes back out of your mouth now, and it's really encouraging to hear that from other people here. And I would like to just ask for if there's any way of getting more research into the art role, like you mentioned now, so we can have more foundational, because we have intuition on this, but we don't have the research on it. So please send that to me. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
I mean, for me, I'm working on this since 2008 when I started to program the International Year of Global Understanding. So that's a long experience, a lot of failures with a lot of different approaches. For me, the starting point is, if you say that the environment is the issue, then the arts have a job of decoration or of illustration. They are not taken serious. The art should imagine other ways of living, and they should be absolutely free. And their creativity should be the key driver. Of course, what we need most, and the arts, including the humanities, are of core importance. We need another hierarchy of values. So far, success is expressed by the amount of resources somebody can buy and use. But we don't need 24 bathrooms, hundreds of cars, and thousands of rooms, whatever. Life is too short. I mean, you have to develop values that the simple pleasures are the key pleasures of life, and there is nothing else. It doesn't help to chase other things. And this, the arts, philosophy, literature, poesy, poetics, music, performing arts, and so on, down to culinary, about eating, drinking, simple things in a good manner, are the key things. And this is the job of a joint effort of all the artists, and the others have to learn to take the artist serious and not just as interior decorators or and something like that, illustrating what the scientists are saying. This is another world. This is another world. It's your job, and we have to change policies about that.
Next question, Andrea, please keep it short. Andrea, unmute your mic.
Yes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrea Mason, South America ambassador, as well as America. Thank you, Richard, David, and Iram for having me. I would like to say, how would we be able to get the message in small amounts in the communities, in the villages? I came from Colombia, South America during the cartel, and I came to America at 11 months at 11 pounds, adoption based. But I speak to the orphanages worldwide, and I want to educate and figure out a higher level where we can impact the world in small baby steps within their villages, their communities, and as leaders here on the platform, reminding their leaders from where they came from to accentuate and put into action baby steps on how communities and leaders can come to fruition. Thank you for your time.
Yes, Mr. Benno, would you like to respond to that?
The point is, if I understood your it's very difficult to change the power of press and the media and so on. But the work you're doing, if I understood you correctly, is most important, and you have the advantage that you are talking on the basis of your experience. That's this kind of message nobody else from the media can bring to the people. And this is authenticity. I think authenticity is the key problem of the scientists. You know, having the foundings of global climate change and spending the vacation on a crusade every year for weeks on the ocean, polluting the air like nothing else, that's not the basis to be authentic and to convince people to change their way of lives. So your message, based on your experience, that's the key level of changing people's minds, because the others don't reach the mind as you can do. And that's what we need to organize, these kind of messages, these kinds of communication in networks, but based on authenticity. What we are preaching, we have to live ourselves.
Farzana Khan, next question.
Hi, Benno. Thank you very much, Benno. This is very insightful. I agree with everything you say, but one of the things that's so important for me is the mindset and a collective mindset. I do believe that what you said about taking control, in my speech today in the presentation, is one of the solutions that I found through my works and seeing the catastrophes of the humans, what we do. And as you're saying, these are not natural-made disasters, they are human-made disasters. So how do we find solutions? And yet, you're absolutely right, 100%, on the fact that we shouldn't leave all the controls to the government, to the companies, to other organizations. We are part of that, and we need to have contingency plans for ourselves. We can't wait for the status quo to make the decisions, because that's the due process, takes forever. What your little steps that you take for yourself, for example, one of the things I quoted today was seeing the floods in Kensington, where I live, in Garland, where Saddam's homes are. There are things that we could do ourselves. For example, California is mentioned as a state that has the most difficult climate, that they have every disaster, but they are ready for it, the public. So for example, Bruno, my friend, says we don't have any painting or mirrors above our bed. We have a bag ready for evacuation at the door. So what I want to say, I agree with everything you said about collective mindset, about taking some control. The public needs to see it's not them and us. We can't leave every power of them to sort things out for ourselves. We have to get ready. We understand the climate has changed. We know it's not going to get, I'm not going to say pessimistically or be realist, that things are changing and they are going to get a little bit more challenging. So what can we do as an individual, for myself, for my family, to make sure we are prepared for that? Preparation is key. But for me, the loss of life in West is a lot smaller than the emerging markets. At Scotland, we had 45,000 people who died. In London, we had 1 million with flooding. So my answer to all of this, and absolutely agree with you, collective mindset and take some control yourself. Don't wait just for the decision makers. Make steps for yourselves and take control as well, because leaving control in the hands of others is not ideal as well. So take some control. And thank you, Benno. Everything you said is insightful. It's absolutely honest, and it's absolutely key that we do those things. It's collective, one vision, one mindset, one narrative, one discussion, and also to take control as individuals.
I mean, the important point is, and you are giving a lot of example of that, is, you know, if every individual is thinking what an individual can do, what can do, then nothing will happen. But we have to realize that structures are produced and reproduced by people like us. If you are not repeating them, if you are not changing them, they remain they remain as they are. But structure have been built by people, and we can change them. That's not easy to do. But I think the point I made before in respect of the arts, I think we need a new aesthetics. The way we deal with nature, the way we deal with one another, and the way we deal with resources, and what counts as resource. And I think that's a long way to go, but we cannot stay on the level to have this technocratic view to find just a technical solution for a problem. We have to entangle the problem, the processes that are creating the problems. And that's I think for that we need really everyone, and especially also the young people to build their own world.
Thank you, Mr. Benno. Nico, next question. Keep it short. Nico from Glasgow. Can you hear us, Nico?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, for me, it's not a question. It's just a very quick one. I think the people in COP28, I want to see them taking homework. I mean to say, when I mean homework, I mean what happened in COP26 has never been spoken again. And secondly, we should not give poor countries homework when they don't have resources. And secondly, as an artist, we're not funded enough to actually raise awareness. And secondly, yeah, that's it. I think people, if they can take homework, so next year they can come back and show the world what they achieved. And the other thing I disagree with the lady when said is a mindset, everybody. It's kind of like put people under pressure. You know what I mean? You can't tell a poor child in a village in Africa, it's a mindset. I think, not disrespect, but I'm just saying, we need to find like a very good language to use, not a bullying language as well. And there's a lot to be done. Yeah, that's my own opinion.
Thank you, Nico. Dr. Basharat from Islamabad, you have a question?
Yeah, actually, it's a recommendation or suggestion for Mr. Benno Verlin. Like you see, UNESCO is a specialized agency of the UN. So my suggestion would be that it may not be possible for this COP28 to come up with some suggestions that oil, gas, and coal should be restricted or their use should be minimized. But UNESCO may find technical ways on how, if these are used for, say, energy generation, that the pollution which is produced from burning of these fossil fuels, it can be reduced. Like for the cars, we have catalytic converters. It's a technology which reduces a lot of pollution in the developed world, whereas in the developing countries where they do not use catalytic converters in their cars, their air is a lot more polluted. Like the Lahore in Pakistan and the Delhi in India are the most polluted countries in the world because of this vehicular pollution. So my suggestion is to find ways and tools through which we can control the pollution generated by the energy generation through fossil fuels, coal, gas, as well as oil.
Thank you, Dr. Basharat. Is Collins with us? Collins or Timothy, please, representing Kenya. You've done amazing work. We would like to hear you, Timothy or Collins, before David plays the videos and we could come to the closing. Timothy, you have to unmute yourself.
Hi. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, Timothy, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, Sadaf, I didn't get your question. There was some echo.
Collins was supposed to talk about all the campaign. It's for you. You were part of it. So we just want to hear you. You and your team had done amazing work and we appreciate it. So you're representing Africa and more than 45 universities. Yes, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sadaf. Indeed, it's been an incredible journey, journeying with, getting to bring all the speakers around and especially working with the EACCGN. That's East African College and Campuses Youth Network. It's been an incredible journey whereby, you're seeing bringing youths from all across Africa in campuses and colleges, and bringing them to showcase what they have, in the space of environment. And it's been really interesting to see that these young people have been able to, shift this climate initiative livelihood, because that is the only way they can be able to be sustainable. And it's been really an incredible journey, seeing them bringing out their talents in a diverse way, and having conversations in a diverse way, getting to understand them from their understanding. So it's really been an interesting thing. Also, for the 12 days of COP, the conversations that we've had from people across the continent, it has really given us hope to know that people really care about the planet. People are doing something that are geared towards taking care of the environment, and this gives us hope. This makes us aware that there are things that people are doing to remedy the effects of climate change, and it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of patience, and then we'll be there. And so far so good. The response has been great, and I mean, the conversations has just been incredibly amazing. I must repeat that again. Yeah, that's it from me, Sadaf, here in Kenya, and I can't wait to join the EACCGN team. To celebrate this incredible milestone that we've made. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Timothy. Last question, and then David will be playing the amazing videos of the closing ceremony. And I would request people who want to stay, they can join our team. We'll be celebrating with some music and just lighter conversation. And those who want to leave, they can leave. Thanks once again for joining the closing ceremony for COP28, which is happening in Dubai, from the It's For You team, a symphony of billion voices. Last question, Mr. Burkhardt from Germany.
Okay, thanks a lot, Shadaf. I just want to inform Benno about an initiative by, let's say, a colleague of him, former colleague of him, who is a former Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations World Tourism Organization. It's a friend of mine. I don't know whether you know him, Mr. Geoffrey Lippmann. He's living in Brussels. And I had the strong feeling when you gave your statement that I urgently should connect you if you don't know each other already. So I don't want to go in, make a very short summary now, but I will continue. Benno, I will send you a message via LinkedIn to give you my contacts. And my approach is, the world's largest employer is the travel and tourism industry, which of course is also overlapping with UNESCO, and it's overlapping with education. And this program from the former Deputy Secretary General is funded by the government of Malta. So, and they have scholarships for students from the LDCs, less developed countries, and SIDS, small islands developing states. And they have courses for, so the interface for tourism and climate change is climate-friendly travel. So this is overlapping. And this is the key word. And I think there are a lot of synergies here. I will come back to this, and everybody who want to know more, I will write my email address here, and because otherwise it will be too long.
Thank you so much, Mr. Burkhardt. Inger, your closing remarks for the closing ceremony, being the co-host and moderator with me for 12 days. I know, Inger, we all are now tired, but we did it. And I think it was a great method. Over to you, Inger, and then over to David.
Thank you.
Make some music, videos, and videos.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been amazing to be not only together with you, Sadaf, for 12 days, but it has been even longer. We started early September, so it's been 90 days together, with every week and every day more or less at the end of the journey here with David and Richard and Timothy and Collins and David, Em and Maureen and everyone, Irum and Gina and everyone. There is, with all respect, there was a hand up from Lenny, and I was wondering if you still wanted to ask the question. I'm sorry that is a little bit not the protocol, but I think we always saw his hands up. So I'm just asking that, Lenny, if you are still wanted to ask a question, we can welcome that at the end as well.
And also, I would request Iram quickly to say she's done a wonderful work just in 1 month for this whole campaign from Karachi, and just 2 minutes to Mr. Jinnah as well. Yes, Iram.
Thank you so very much. Firstly, I am humbled to be here, and as a teammate over here, it's for you. It's an amazing job we all did. Congratulations, my team and everyone over here having trust in me. I am so very happy that we have accomplished something which is not possible. But the thing is, like, yes, my team, my digital team, who are not on the screen, who made it happen, who everyone is there to make some videos, do something for me, I thank personally. And thank you, Mr. Benno. It's been a pleasure meeting you over here, Madam Sadaf, Jinnah Saab, Inger, and David. I met, it's a symphony of billion voices, and I say it's for you, it's for me, and it's for everyone. So please join my hands. Thank you.
Mr. Jinnah.
Yeah,
2 minutes,
thank
Mr.
you.
Jinnah. Closing
No,
remarks.
I'll take just 1 minute. So I'd like to thank everyone. It's a wonderful experience I had with COP28. So I'd like to thank everyone. And I'd just like to add one thing, what the Barack Obama said a couple of years ago, that we are the first generation who facing the climate change, and we are the last generation who can do something about it. So that was the word, who actually dragged me into this SDGs and the goal number 7 and 13 and everything, right? So, I like to tell everyone, please, 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 just raise your voice for climate is a very dangerous, it's coming up and it's not going to be avoided. We'd like to thank everyone for giving this opportunity. Yes, Sadaf, over to you.
Over to David. Are you ready? Good. I would like Areva to speak. Areva, are you there? The guy behind, he's a lot of effort, all the speakers' profile he's made, all the certification. Areva, thank you so much for that.
Thank
Can
you.
you speak? Just say hello.
I want to say a personal thanks to Areva, because I am the one who's just bugging him every half an hour. So I am so thankful that you were there. Thank you from Pakistan.
I thank Mr. Benno to be part of this closing ceremony. Mr. Benno, we're just having informal discussion for the people who would like to speak. Your closing remarks, and I know your time is precious. Maybe you have some other commitments, but your closing remarks, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. This really a very informative and inspiring session today. Thank you for that. And of course, I would like to invite, my idea is that we need to connect and we have to support one another. And one possibility to do that with more than 1,000 people around the planet is to go to the website of the Jena Declaration. There you have the possibility to sign, to leave your remarks. You can say with whom you want to connect. And we are trying to be a platform to connect all people, like-minded people, inspiring, like rethinking our decisions and rethinking our ways of doing. And of course, I would be happy to connect you with a lot of people that are already partners of the Jena Declaration and that are already signed the Jena Declaration. And that I think could be a good opportunity to go on with the spirit of this session for the next days, months, years to come, and to really change all of us a little bit every day, the places
we will
Thank you.
do. Thank you, Benno. We will do. I will also say that Jena, the city of Jena, is famous for being the word kindergarten. And I was always perplexed why a German word in looking at children, and it comes into being that's the place where they invented children to go to school or kindergarten. And that is the playful playground that we need to find and go back to our inner child again. And also on behalf of the World Climate School, I think we are learners. It's a learning journey to be online like this. It's technical glitches, but that's also part of the learning journey. And of course, it's a spiritual journey to learn how to connect our arts and the arts and the heart, and the art of living well, and to try to navigate through this chaos. And the artist's eyes and the way of looking into it. The artist sometimes, as my friend in prison, Sven said, it gets order in chaos. and through that kind of navigation as a chaos pilots, it's really part of the learning journey. So thank you everyone, and each to you that we are together on this journey, and it's a beginning, and let's continue. So thank you so much to all of you from my heart.
Thank you, Inger. And before we close this session, it's just a suggestion, excitement. All of you who have participated, Inger, and thanks, David, thanks, Richard, for having the faith in me, trusting me. It was a huge responsibility, very tense till the closing ceremony. I think we had more than 54 participants, which was good around the globe. We are going live. Do see our sessions on Rethinking Choices on YouTube. Amazing conversations from Greece to Jamaica, to Germany, to UK, to Africa. Each of the sessions were different than the real COP. People were projecting what actually they're doing. We didn't talk about problems. So that was, I think, very unique, which I found, and Inger would agree to that. We heard such wonderful stories. So we have a dream, we have a plan to invite you all for a physical conference. We haven't decided which country, but let's to meet you all in person, and let's join together to save our planet Earth for future generations. That's from me. Thank you all. Take care. And for 2024, let's save our planet Earth. Bye from Pakistan.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye from Norway. Bye-bye.
Bye. A lovely journey.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, David M. Thank you.
Bye from Kenya.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you.
Bye-bye from
Elizabeth,
Kenya.
Dominic, thank you. Zimbabwe, Kenya.
Thank you.
Thank
you from Zimbabwe.
Pakistan. Yes, thank you. Thank
Bye
you.
from South Africa.
Jamaica. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jamaica. Thank you, South Africa.
Well wishing South Africa.
Diana, thank
London.
you. We'd love everyone to speak more. So we
Thank
have
you,
to connect
everyone.
again. Thank you, David.
Bye.
Thank you, Germany. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Whatever.
Indeed.
Okay.
Thank you, Diana. See you in Jamaica.
Well done.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay.
Yes, we should love sustainability. I am coming.
Good.
It's Future Americans Day. We should love sustainability. You know,
Diana from Jamaica, you were very quiet before we log off. Do you want to say something?
Love for love.
Jamaica. I want to hear from Jamaica. Diana,
Yes,
can you
hear from Jamaica.
Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah, dancing in the rain gives you joy. Only my challenges gives you joy. Being alive gives you joy. Having fun, hey, 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 hey. Yo, transformational ownership, yeah. Hey yo, listen, everyone, you are welcome to the party. Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now, yeah.